So our daughter in China is named Ellie.
I know when we go to China and we hopefully are able to go to our baby's orphanage, we're going to want to take them all home. We would love to adopt all of them now, but the number is climbing, 116 million worldwide, and so obviously we can't do that, but God has called us at this point in time to adopt one.
Well, it's actually very cool how God began to work in our hearts, leading us to pursue adoption. And in all honesty, God really began first working in Allison's heart at a very young age. She had the desire to adopt. And I'd never really thought about it that much before until we met. And shortly after we met and started dating, she kind of shared the idea with me as our relationship became more serious. And so I was open to it, and I guess I would say God began to open my heart to it. And so then we were engaged, we got married, and shortly after that, God really just hit my heart with a love and passion for orphans, and I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that He was leading us to adoption.
Well, we were so blessed to have our first child, our daughter, who was our biological child. And when she was about 1 year old, we started praying about expanding our family and what that might look like. We really, I think, felt like adoption would come into our family kind of later on when our biological children were older. But we're, of course, open to what God wants for our lives and for what our family should look like. And so we began praying about that, and God just really, over the course of a few days or weeks, He really just turned our hearts to the orphans, and He really just gave us such a heart for the orphans of the world. And so quickly and so hard, in fact, that there was one night when we just couldn't go to bed without filling out the application to start the process.
One of the first and biggest challenges that we saw kind of coming in was the challenge of finances and how we're going to pay for this big, expensive thing that God has obviously called us to. But once again, God has shown Himself to be so awesome and amazing and holy, and has just provided through family and friends and donations, through our local church partnering with us, and through several grants that have just come in. And so God has just shown Himself so faithful in the finances of our adoption process.
It's just so different. A paperwork pregnancy, they call it, is so different than a natural pregnancy. But I think it's so cool, something God did this week for us. We've had along the way just a few little glitches here and there with the paperwork that maybe slowed things down a day here, a week there. Anyway, but just 4 days ago now, we got matched. We got to see the face of our little girl for the first time. And the thing is, she just right now became available, to be matched with a family. And so had anything that happened during the process gone even just a little bit faster or a little bit slower, the timing wouldn't have matched up, and God just had her in His hand the whole time, and He really just had this process mapped out long before He ever put it in our minds.
Another challenge is simply the wait and having to be patient. And this is one area where God has really kind of stretched us and given us a stronger faith in who He is, relying on Him to be our hope, relying on Him for patience, relying on Him for strength, where we get tired and we feel like we can't wait anymore, and God has given us a desire for this little girl and put her on our hearts to such an extent that we want to go get her today. But God says wait and be patient and wait on Him. And through this process, He has just strengthened us by giving us the faith to trust Him more.